Hello, my name is Paul Woodfall. I'm a teacher trainer at Oxford University Press. In this session, we're looking at reading for primary with the Classroom Presentation Tool. Classroom Presentation Tool can be found on oxfordlearnersbookshelf.com. I'm now going to open my Oxford Learners Bookshelf and sign in before choosing the book that we will be taking our reading text from. This is an example of any reading text that you might wish to focus on. And I'll be giving you ideas as to how you can present a reading. So we go to the reading and open the book. When it opens, it will open at the last page that was saved. Here we have it. One of the things I like to do is to bookmark my pages. As you can see, I click on bookmark at the top left-hand side. Click on the bookmark, and then I can go to Tile View, Bookmark, and I will have all my bookmarks in front of me, including the page I just bookmarked. So the reading text is here, and first of all, I would do some pre-reading work. I would activate schemata. I would look at the reading goal of the unit. I might focus and go into each of the areas before doing the reading with my students. And of course, I can use my answer key to get the right answers. And I can click off my answer key, delete the answers as well. So leaving the focus tool, I go to my reading text and I want to highlight the key vocabulary that is in the text. Children have the books open. I ask them to do the following: take a sheet of paper and cover the text. I can do that with my memo sheet, which I take from memo at the top toolbar. I can make a recording memo, or I can make a paper memo, a post-it note. And as you can see, that's what I've done here. I click on the post-it note. I put in my text. I save with done, and there I have my text that I can write anything in my text that I wish. When I wish to bin this, I just simply click on bin and then delete it. And here we are. So I would ask my students to do exactly what I'm doing with my memo sheet. I'm covering the text and I'm asking them to listen, point, and say the words.
Page 37. Keywords.
These are keywords in the reading text, and we want the students to be able to listen and point and say those words, then find the words in the text. So they would unmask their text and underline or circle the keywords in the text. Once that's done, I would then go through the text with the students. To do this, I would use my highlighter tool, make the font a little bit bigger, and highlight the keywords here. So the first word is office. I highlight office. Highlight office. The next word is library. I might choose a different color and highlight library. Then we have a different color, bakery. Okay, so that's an idea of what we can do. Once we are happy with highlighting the words, of course, we can ask our students to check that they have highlighted all the words when they've read the text once. Then, once we've highlighted the words, remember we can, of course, delete them using the Remove All tool and continue with the post-reading. Now, it would be a good idea if my students, to see this a little bit better, I might make it slightly bigger and highlight the words accordingly, because that was rather small. So we highlight again, office, office, etc. And then we would move on to the post-reading. And again, I would use my focus tool and look at the post-reading questions and probably ask my students, after explaining and getting feedback from them, I would ask my students to go through the exercises before the next lesson. Now, there are several exercises here going all the way to the end of the unit. So I would need time with my students to go through these exercises. Some of you might ask, how do we get students to record the words? Well, the words that are in the text, the highlighted words, we could get them to use the platform and use their microphone and get them to say the words. We could, or I could point randomly at the words and say, okay, what's this? And they would record bus station, store, etc. I could also ask them in a WhatsApp chat group, I could ask them to record these words as well. So when we've done the reading, the first reading in class, and we've checked the highlighted words, I would then ask my students to go away from, I would stop recording, ask my students for the next lesson to have these exercises done, and we could feed back on these exercises in the same way by clicking on the focus function, and we would be able to check the answers like this, or check all the answers in one go. And then, of course, remember, we can delete those answers like that. So, when we're thinking about reading, we really need to make sure that our students have had time to understand what they're going to do. We would have to consider the pre-reading tasks done live, where we activate schemata and any vocabulary work that we need to do before they actually read the text. Indeed, any skills work. While they're reading, how do I want my students to respond? Initially, a little response with highlighting the key words would be done live, and I would, of course, go through the exercises and possibly elicit some of the answers. Then offline, ask my students to continue answering the questions referring back to the text. Finally, after they've done their reading, we would then have a lesson, a synchronous lesson, a live lesson, and we would get feedback, and I would elicit from them what the answers are. This is important because they will need time to think about their answers before we then get back together again. For more tips about, indeed, any other aspect of teaching from home and learning from home, this has been reading, but we have plenty more tips on other skills, grammar and vocabulary work. Please go to Learn at Home. The URL is www.oup.com/ELT/Learn at Home. I hope you found this useful. Stay well. Bye for now.